So now I'll go over exactly how I grew wide shoulders fast. Now I've always been a skinny guy trying to bulk up. I've tried a bunch of advice on how to grow my delts. 80% of it didn't work, but some really did. So that's why I feel that I have decent advice, and no disrespect to anyone, but when the big guys give this sort of advice, most of them just have insane genetics and they've never gone through the problem. So what I want to do in this video, share exactly what helped me the most to grow my delts fast from someone who is in the same position as you are and from someone who started in the same position as you are right now. I think that's the most important thing. And before we begin, you can get the exact workout program that I use to build my body from this to this. Go click the link below once you're ready. All right, let's do this. So the start. As a skinny guy, we all start with small shoulders. As you can see right here in the picture, this is my, I think I said this in the previous video. This was exactly my first day training. All right, so you can see my shoulders here and my shoulders here. I don't know, this picture is probably in the same period. Some will have a wider frame just because of the bones. So some of these skinny guys, when they start, they're skinny. They're very skinny. They're as skinny as we are, but they have something different. They have a wider frame, the wider shoulders. Why? Because of the bones. So they will naturally, because of their genetics, they have naturally a bigger frame here of the bones. They have bigger bones here. So they already have that V-taper frame. They still have to work a lot to build the muscle, but we have to build wider shoulders. We have to really build the muscle because we don't have the natural wider frame. If you don't have that frame, just like me, as you can see here, it's still possible to fix it by training. As you can see, I fixed it right here. So now I'll walk you through the exact way I fixed it. First of all, the way I grew my shoulders was the hard way. That means when you do not feel to push, you push anyway. That's how you do it. So prepare for a hard battle and for the results, because it is going to be a hard battle. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be very, very hard, but also the results are going to be very, very good. So as you can see, I didn't start with the natural wider frame, have very wide bones here for my shoulders, but I still managed to put it off. So that's why I'm going to teach you exactly how I did it. Okay, so first I want to screen if you really need to change something, if you're currently trying to build your shoulders, all right? Because maybe you're already trying to build your shoulders, you're training, you're trying to do all the things right, and I don't want to mess something up for you, all right? So I'm gonna have a checklist here, I'm gonna walk you through it, and if you answer yes, or you think you answer yes to all of these items here, then you're good to go. So number 0, good technique and progressive overload. That's important. Best exercises. You do the best exercises for your shoulders that actually build muscle, not some Instagram Reels BS exercises. Train 2 to 3 times per week the shoulders. 15 sets or more per week for the shoulders. You have enough protein, enough calories, and an optimized recovery. Now, if you think, as I said, you do all these things, then you just need to give it some time. All right? Because it can be the case that you do everything right, but you just need to give it some time. All right? You need to give it some time to see some growth. So continue with this and you will see progress. Now, if not, watch this video and I'll check them for you. And you can, if you think you do all these things, you can still watch this video to make sure you do them right. So the exercises I did, which exercises worked very, very well for me. Now, from the beginning, I must say that I did not have access to any fancy equipment. Any shoulder lateral raises machine, standing or sitting, I didn't have that. As you can see here, the only 2 exercises I did, heavy dumbbell lateral raises with drop sets, and sometimes cable lateral raises. This was hard to progress for me on this exercise, the cable lateral raises, and I'm going to tell you why later on. So these were the only 2 exercises I did for my shoulders. As you can see, I did not train my posterior fibers and anterior fibers of the shoulder. All right, so as you can see, we have kind of 3 parts of the shoulder: the deltoid muscle, the anterior, the front part of the shoulder, the middle fibers, the lateral delt, and the posterior, the ones in the back. All right, so I did not have any specific exercise for those 2, anterior and posterior, with direct exercises, meaning that I didn't have I have lateral raises for the middle fibers. I didn't do shoulder presses to train my front part of the shoulder. I just did those parts, the front and the posterior. I did them while working on the chest, while working on the back. So I would get some activation there. And I did that because I just wanted to grow a wider frame, and it worked, as you can see in this photo. Now, I am planning to take my shoulders to the next level, all right? So I want to focus a lot on the shoulders and grow like a 3D shoulders. I want them to be my best body part. Now, if you want to find exactly how I'm planning to do that, I share everything with the guys in my full program, so make sure or consider checking it out. Is the first link in the description. So, making gains. Once you have the exercises in place and you do all the right exercises for you, you need to make them harder over time. That's how you stimulate the muscle to grow. That's how you send the body signals, okay, grow these fucking muscles because I need to lift that weight, that heavy weight. If not, I'm gonna die. That's why the muscle is growing. So for dumbbell lateral raises, I would try to add 1 to 2 reps for 2 weeks in a row. So I start, let's say, I'm going to give you an example so I make sure you understand. So let's say this week I do dumbbell lateral raises with 10 kilograms, with 10 reps. Next week, I'm going to do same weight, 10 kilograms, but I'm going to try and do 11 or 12 reps. Next week, still the same weight, 10 kilograms, but I'm going to try to do 13 or 14 reps. After I do that for 2-3 weeks, then try the next weight, which is usually 2 more kilograms for the dumbbells. So the third week, I'm gonna try the 12 kilograms. That's how I did it for dumbbell lateral raises, just because for dumbbells, it's pretty hard to do the next weight, the next dumbbells every single week. It's pretty hard to do that, all right? Did I break the form? Yes, a bit, but I had to make some progress one way or another, all right? So the shoulders do not grow just by having the perfect technique. You don't break the technique at all. You don't train hard. You don't train till failure. You need some way or another. Now, do not think that I would break my spine during lateral raises. No, I would just maybe swing a bit to bring the weight up and slow. Then then using my lateral delts to lower the weight slowly. All right, but that's what I'm talking about. But not breaking the form 100%. Because I tried to add only reps. I felt stuck for weeks with the same weight. So, like I said, it's hard to do the next dumbbells every single week. So at first I tried, okay, let me bring from 10 reps to 20 reps. But it would take me 1 month and I would be stuck with with the same weight for 1 month. And that's not a good feeling. You feel like you're not progressing at all. So I had to find a way to do this, and this was it. 1 to 2 reps for 2 weeks in a row, and then try the next weight. How did I progress on the cable lateral raises? Now, this is a completely different story. The position does not allow me to add a lot of weight very often. It hurts my shoulders. I feel like I'm gonna hurt my shoulders. I'm gonna get an injury. So I tend not to push really hard on the weight on the cable lateral raises, just because it's hard for my shoulder joints. But I'm gonna try to add reps. So the way I did it was to add a bunch of reps and tried to add the 1 kilo dumbbell on the plates. Like, you have the machine with the plates that you choose. And then I would add on top of the weights, I would add 1 dumbbell, 1 kilogram dumbbell. And that seems to work. And that's why it's not my favorite exercise for shoulders, because it's hard for me to progress. And if I do not progress, I feel like the muscle is not growing. So I need to progress in one way or another. Now, in terms of volume, I tried around 15 sets per shoulder per week. And if I would train the shoulders twice per week, that would be, I don't know, 1 session 7 or 1 session 10 sets, or and the other session 5 sets. Because the way I like to schedule and structure my workouts is, in the beginning of the week, I train very hard, and towards the weekend, I do less volume and less intensity. So you can structure it however you want, but that's how I did it. And I trained the shoulders twice per week, like I said. Now, in terms of technique, what I did here was make sure that when I reach failure, the shoulder is the one giving up, not other muscle. And I'm going to explain this to you. So, if I'm training my shoulders, I want my shoulders to be the limiting factor when I reach failure, not my traps. Because if my traps give up and I reach failure, if my traps give up, my shoulders are not done. They can still do more, but I cannot because of my traps. So I need to find one way or another just to make sure you have the shoulder, the limiting factor, the one giving up. So that's one in terms of high quality technique. And also control the weight. Make sure you do not swing the weight. You start the sets with perfect technique, perfect form. You control the weight all the time. Towards the end of the set, maybe if you want to go to failure, maybe it's okay to break the form a bit, just like I said. But do not start the sets from the beginning breaking the form. That's it for technique. For the protein. Protein is the building block of the muscle. If you want to build a wall, you need bricks. The bricks are the protein. So the general rule here, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 190 pounds, you're going to need around 190 grams of protein every single day. Now, if you get that number every day, you're good to go. You're good to go. You can experiment with more, you can experiment with less, but start with this number and see your results. Now, if you get that, also try to spread the protein into 5 times per day. So that can be when you wake up, you have 30-40 grams of protein. Then 3-4 hours later, maybe 5 hours later, or when you get hungry, you have another 30-40 grams of protein. Then you do this until you go to sleep. If you eat 5 times a day, not 5 meals, but 5 times. So a meal can be some nuts, a protein shake, and a fruit. That's a meal right there. And then you can also have, let's say, a lean meat, some veggies, some carbs, and all that stuff. So that's a good way to structure. Now, some high quality sources of protein. I didn't know this when I started working out. I would just eat a full plate of pasta and I thought I saw there 20 grams of protein. Oh, that's nice. I have 20 grams of protein. But it turns out that you cannot actually use that protein from low quality sources of protein to build the muscle. Why? Because it's not the complete protein. So the protein has a bunch of essential amino acids, 9 to be more specific. And in order to eat a protein and for the body to use it to build muscle, you need to have all of those 9 essential amino acids in that protein that you eat. Now, if you eat only pasta, you see 20 grams of protein per 100 grams, but it's not a complete protein. You're not going to use that protein to build muscle. So these are high quality protein, complete proteins that you can eat every single day. Whey protein, casein protein, eggs, and lean meats. If you just focus on these and then you also have some pasta, that's a bonus right there. But focus on this. For the calories, do not overthink it. I didn't even bother with calories. Just make sure you eat 4 or 5 times a day. That's good. And gain half a pound from 1 week to another. Half a pound at max, I must say. Because you guys seems to want to bulk heavy. But that's not going to help you. You're going to gain a bunch of fat. It's going to be harder for you in the long run to lose the fat. You're going to lose muscle in the process. It's not worth it. It's better to gain some fat like you see here. I did not gain a bunch of fat. I can still see my abs just a little bit. I still have some fat, but I look aesthetic. I build muscle in the same time. It's healthy. It's an optimal environment for me to build muscle. I do not need bulk heavy to not see my abs in order to build muscle. You can see right here, I did it. I did this. I never got fat. So, I would say that half a pound per week at max. If you notice that, okay, you gain a bunch of fat, then eat less. And eat mostly healthy food and junk if you really need those extra calories. Let's talk about recovery. So, I had to make sure the recovery is on point. So, here's what helped me to sleep better. White noise, open Spotify, open a playlist, 11 hour, put it there, set a timer. Non-sleep deep rest before you sleep. It's a meditation. You can find it also on Spotify from Andrew Huberman. Is going to help you relax your body. At least try it. Consistent going to sleep time. Another big one. Eat last meal 3 hours before sleep. Now, I really struggle with this because I tend to eat a lot in the evening. Not a lot, but I tend to eat my last meal just before going to sleep. So that's a hard one for me. And keep the room cold. That's a really good one for me. It helps me a lot. If the room is very cold, I can sleep very, very well. At the end of the day, it all comes down to staying consistent with the things that I explained to you. So if you go back, take notes, make sure you do all that stuff, complete and check the checklist. Make sure to stay consistent. Stay consistent give it a couple of months. 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and you're going to see progress. So if you click right now on the link below, you're going to get access to my own program where I share a bunch of stuff, my plans. I make other people plans. If you're a skinny guy just starting out, please do not take advice from Instagram. I would highly recommend that you join and you get advice from someone who had the same starting point as you, because I've been through all the mistakes and the problems and I know how to avoid them, to fix it, and I know the fast line. So you're basically going to get a bunch of courses and the programs and a bunch of resources. As you can see here, over 43 workout routines that are meant to help you get jacked. And I always add more. I update those, as you can see, updated monthly. Bulking, cutting recipes that I use to get jacked. A lot of good stuff. Some skills. And these are some of the outlines that you can see right now. Just consider it.